Joining us in the studio for the first time, WFAA senior political reporter Jason Whiteley. Welcome to the show.
Well, let me compliment you guys on the green room and the fabulous buffet you have for your guests. You guys have a huge budget here.
Yeah,
at
you eat
UDSS.
well in there, don't you?
I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
It's
What's the green room like at Y'all-itics?
Well, it doesn't exist. They make us leave the building, so you guys have a real studio. So hats off to you there, guys.
Well, we've got a keg in the back in case you're
Let's tap
interested.
it. Let's tap it. Yeah, I'm drinking water over here out of a white cup.
Yeah,
you know?
Kelly's already about 3 drinks in, I think, out of that keg. So we're ready to start the party already on this Tuesday afternoon. We wanted to bring you in because you had a very interesting conversation with Chad West, the Dallas council member, about the future for the two teams in Dallas that currently play in Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks and the Dallas Stars. We've got other teams in Dallas, but they play elsewhere. These two have actually played in Dallas for quite a long time now, for really the entirety of their existence in Dallas. But that may or may not continue to be the case in the future. What are some of your key takeaways from talking with Mr. West?
Dallas City Hall is under immense pressure to figure this out. You know, Dallas is trying to figure out how to keep the teams in downtown, in the city center. There's talk about them leaving to go to Valley View, maybe to go to Irving. We'll get into all that in just a moment here. But there is tremendous pressure to figure out a way to keep them downtown. And what's interesting about this, they're framing the decision now more like we have to save downtown Dallas, not just we need to keep the teams in Dallas, but we need to save downtown Dallas. That's what's fascinating about this. More than that, though, we've talked to Chad a number of times. We've talked to Councilman Paul Ridley and a few others, Maxie Johnson. But the tone has really changed, especially talking about the Mavs. And in the past, it was all about, the Mavs need to remain downtown, and that means we have to give them the City Hall site, the iconic building down there, the IMP building, then we'll do that. But now, the tone from this last interview the other day was, we just need to keep them somewhere in the city so we have the tax revenue. So where they go next is going to be interesting.
So if we can call up SOT 31, because that one kind of gets into a lot of what you were talking about relative to City Hall. This is Dallas Council member Chad West about the fact that just in general, whether it involves the Mavs or not, they've got to make a decision with that space.
The City Hall discussion's got to happen. You know, no matter, I know the Mavs have been the center of a lot of publicity lately, but whatever the Mavericks decide to do, the City Hall decision still has to take place. And we had over 400 submissions from interested folks who have ideas. Now, some of them were like—
To redevelop the site.
To redevelop the site or to keep it and to build around it.
So there's a lot to unpack with what they do from here, because it is about more than just the Dallas Mavericks. They're involved in this discussion because that's been one possible site for them to consider, but there's a lot of things that they have to figure out in that space.
I think what's changed here is the City Hall site has gotten too politically hot probably for the Mavs. And we were just talking about Luka a minute ago, right? The Mavs have had a lot of tough PR over the last year and a half.
Yes.
And it's if they stay in downtown Dallas, this is likely the PR they may not want to deal with. There's a huge groundswell now from a lot of folks in East Dallas, in Oak Cliff, and other parts of the city who say, listen, don't tear down this building. There are plenty of other places to go. You can go on Riverfront Boulevard over here on the other side of the Triple Underpass by the old state jail that's empty now. You can go on the other side of downtown, the east side of downtown where the Sheraton is. There's a lot of land over there next to Deep Ellum. There's a number of other places, even the Cedars, just south of City Hall. There's a number of places that are really in the city center that could still be developed. So it seems like there might be some pressure coming off of City Hall. I've talked to some of the people, who are with the Save City Hall campaign. They're like, no, I don't believe it at all. I think this is, this is already baked in. It's going to happen. I'm not so sure.
Where does reality versus political motivation intersect in all of this? Because you're probably hearing a lot of things, but everything you hear from somebody, it's like agents trying to throw feelers out there to get some attention for their client. How much of what you hear do you think is actually true versus maybe just something that one side is trying to put out there to get some public opinion about?
And you always have— that's a great question, Jonah, because you always have to weigh that, especially in politics. I mean, in sports too, but in politics, that's
there's so much
really
special
thick.
interest, and that I guess that's what I'm.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all special.
No, absolutely. But you have to weigh that. I think what's changed, though, I kind of mentioned a moment ago, the tone shift and the people who say, listen, it's going to be too much, too expensive to fix City Hall, and we just need to scrape the lot and sell the property, and it'll be in conjunction with a brand new convention center, whoever develops this, Mavs or anybody else, can build a big entertainment district around it. What's different now, though, I think, is the people who are for that aren't really for that anymore. I don't say they're not for it anymore. They might still be for it, but they're not vocalizing it like they were. So where reality intersects with the spin on this is, if I'm a betting man right now today and I go out and want to place a bet on this, it sounds to me like, talking to a number of people, I talked to one other councilman before I got in the studio here, sounds like the political pressure on the Mavs is getting pretty hot on this. So,
meaning
they might want to steer clear of this. Now, the other thing people are talking about now, too.
What is it that's getting hot, though? What about this is too hot for them to touch?
If you don't want to go build a stadium if half your fan base might be upset that you tore down our city hall, our iconic city hall, and now we're going to be on the 35th through the 45th floors of some downtown building. That's what they're concerned about. We're tearing down this meeting place. BMW marathons down there. There's all kinds of things that happen in and around City Hall. That's what I'm hearing might be kind of tough. Here's the other thing. You guys may have heard this too. Irving evidently is putting on a huge push to get the Mavs to go to Irving. Of course, they own the property there by the old Texas Stadium. But evidently, whatever Irving is offering, and I haven't talked to Irving yet, but whatever Irving is offering has spooked folks at Dallas City Hall.
Let's listen to some more about this from Councilmember Chad West, because he did talk about specifically the Mavs and the prospect of them being in Dallas. This is SOT number 32, Z.
The Mavericks have said they want to stay in Dallas. Sure. I hope that continues to be true. Whether the Mavs go to Valley View or whether the Mavs stay in downtown somewhere, it's a win to the city. It's a loss to the city if they move to Irving or some other place. So we have to keep the Mavs. Does that mean they need to be at the City Hall site? I don't think they do. I think they could go to Valley View. It'd still be a win to me. But that conversation aside, we still have to figure out how to save downtown, how to energize it so we don't have any more corporate relocations. Does that mean we have to move out of City Hall? Not necessarily, but we've got to have a true vision for the southern part of downtown, because nothing's been built there in the 20 years I've been here except the Omni. And it's, if we're going to really have a vibrant downtown in the future and let the rest of the city benefit from that, we got to do something now.
So something in this space has got to happen.
Yeah, that was telling there. He says, does that mean that the Mavs have to be at the City Hall site? I don't think they do. I think they could go to Valley View. They're concerned about Irving offering something better that might, take the team just right up the road. Remember the Texas Stadium, the old Texas Stadium wasn't that far away.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't that far away from downtown Dallas. And if you already own the land up there, the problem with this, and the Stars face the same issue, is if you build a new arena in a place like the old Valley View or the Irving site, you've got to build everything else around it.
Correct.
And that's where the issue comes in. Like, I don't want to get ahead of you guys, but if we're talking about the Stars, you already have built-in Victory Park there. Someone else has already put their dime into building that out. You don't have to do that if you stay at the AAC. If you go to Valley View, if you go to Irving, you've got to build all of it. Now, if you have the Adelson's money, spend it, right?
But to your point, and to his point, relative to downtown Dallas in general, because as he said in that soundbite, the only thing that's been built down here in a long time is the Omni.
Did you hear that? I mean,
something needs to happen. You think about a lot of the downtowns elsewhere around the country that have been built up in a lot of different ways and that have been beautified in whatever fashion. Not a lot of that has happened here. This seems like an easy way to not maybe easy is not the wrong word, but it seems like a way to make that happen by building. Why is AT&T Stadium not right over there? How cool would that have looked if they were able to make that happen 15, 20 years ago? But they weren't. If they lose out on another one of these, how much further down the road are we before downtown Dallas has any semblance of vibrancy again?
And that's what he's saying. They're reframing this. The people who are all about, it's too expensive to save City Hall, let's tear it down. They're reframing it now that we have to save downtown Dallas. And not only has, the last building that was really built here is the Omni next door to our studio here, but you've had AT&T move its global headquarters out of here. It's moving to Plano. You have Comerica Bank deciding, after its merger with Fifth Third, that it's going to move out of downtown Dallas. There's real worry right now in Dallas City Hall, the city manager's office, among a number of council people, that we've got to do something to figure out how to keep these teams in downtown.
So how would they have to do it?
That's a great question, man. I mean, that's an awesome question, Jonah. I have no idea. I still think we've all been here for a minute. We know the Cedars neighborhood. There's a lot of, it may be overpriced now, but there's a lot of real estate right there where they're going to build a deck park, right there on the edge of downtown, right across the triple underpass over here, riverfront. There's been talk of a baseball stadium over there for a long time, right, that never materialized. And then you have, the other side of between Deep Ellum and the Skyline. They're talking about tearing down that elevated Interstate 345, tearing that down. Well, if you tear that down, that's even more real estate for you to develop around there. Plus, you have, Deep Ellum, which would be a heck of a fun place to go before or after a game. It would probably look a little different, I'm sure, if something was redeveloped down there with the stadium. But I don't know, man. I think what's changed in talking to these local lawmakers is now they're worried about the teams might be moving somewhere else out of downtown. Stars and Mavs.
And to that, and let's get the Stars before we wrap up this conversation. SOT 33, what the council member Chad West said about the Dallas Stars prospect of leaving, which sounds more and more every day like a probability, but they're at least kind of one last-ditch effort to try and keep them around. As
of yesterday, Kim was negotiating with the owner of the Stars and said we have some positive momentum. I mean, if you think about the cost, so we're talking about costs here of City Hall, right? You think about the cost of them moving up to Plano, and they would have to put in the infrastructure for a new arena there. They'd have to build a brand new arena from ground up there, versus if they stay here at the AAC, we already have a wonderful shell of an arena. What they're asking for is for it to be renovated to really be focused on hockey only.
So the potential plans for Plano have been rumored about for like a year or more, and it seems every day that that's closer and closer to becoming reality and maybe even announceable reality, but it hasn't happened yet, and they do have a lease that runs until 2031 at the AAC, so there's still at least a little window of time here for them to try and make something happen, and it sounds like they're trying to kind of reel them back in a little bit.
I think the Dallas City Hall, the city manager, is going to throw a Hail Mary to keep the Stars here. You have the AAC, and you already have the area around it. You turn that into hockey only, like the councilman just mentioned there, and you add another layer of suites in there. I mean, why would you go to Plano? The fans in Plano are already driving downtown. You already have that built in. There's no other NHL team around us here, so. I think that Dallas is really, working this in the background. They're going to have better luck with the Stars.
Well, it sounds like from an AAC perspective that the Stars are the only potential contender to actually stay there versus the Mavs.
Yeah, the Mavs already said we're building something
they're
new.
Going. So if they want to make use of that AAC outside of concerts, special events, and perhaps the Dallas Wings, then that would in theory say, okay, the Stars are our best option to keep them at the AAC. And then the Mavs, it's you either build something in Dallas or you tear down City Hall or they're going to Irving.
Yep.
Right? So
that's it.
Is that basically it? So like the Mavs are either they're going to take over City Hall, they're going to build something in downtown Dallas, or they're going to Irving where they have that land, or
that's all we know
build a
publicly.
Resort types thing and all the developments around it. And then for the Stars, they're either going up north and they're going to have to develop around it, or they're going to get convinced to stay at the AAC.
It makes sense to me to think that they would be convinced to stay at the AAC. And I can see a deal working out where, the city says, Dallas Stars, you stay here at the AAC. We'll give you a cut of, every concert that comes through here. Every time someone buys a Coke or a beer or popcorn, you get a cut of that also. And then it wouldn't surprise me also, if we all pay, all Dallas taxpayers end up paying to add this second layer of suites
for the renovation.
For the renovation,
But if it's going to be a primarily hockey arena, then that is fine. I mean, it's gone that direction now in pro sports. I mean, there was a time where basketball and hockey arenas were all under the same roof, and now you're seeing more and more they're having their own places because there's more revenue that they can generate from it by having something of their own. and in different places. You know, I think of Minnesota's got a very different setup, and that might be what it ends up looking like in Dallas.
It wouldn't surprise me. If that doesn't happen, what comes of the AAC? Like if the Stars move out and the Mavs move out, and they both have new arenas, and you're a concert act coming to town, which one do you want to go to? And you've got Dickies just down the road.
And therein
tons
lies
of other venues too, music-wise.
But therein lies exactly why I think Dallas is going to do everything it can to keep the Stars there. You don't want another empty building there. Yeah, you can have the big concert act there, once or twice a month. But you have all this investment that went into Victory Park. What are you going to tell those taxpayers down there? Who own restaurants, who own hotels, who own.
What's the draw to come to downtown Dallas outside of like theater?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why City Hall's freaking out right now. When you have AT&T leave, Comerica leave, the Mavs saying, we're going to be looking around, the Stars saying we're looking to Plano, Irving's trying to throw some bait in the pond here. Dallas City Hall, the way we started the conversation, it's pretty spooked right now.
It's a geography issue, though. You don't get this in smaller cities where they have to have arenas in a condensed city because there's only a condensed city to put it. In DFW, you have all these big suburbs where you can put other arenas. Like in Boston, you can't go 45 minutes west and put something in Worcester. Are you kidding? No one's going to want to do that.
Or south where the Patriots
Celtics
play?
Playing at the DCU Center in Worcester?
Listen, the drive to Foxborough from Boston is miserable.
It's terrible, man.
Yes. Yeah. So like that, but in DFW, you don't have that issue because you have all these built-out suburbs, and it's a unique setup geographically.
Look. Bottom line, I think, is look for a deal to be announced with Dallas keeping the Stars. That would not surprise me at all. Plano can't offer what Dallas can, and secondly, I think Dallas is going to figure out a way to try to keep the Mavs. The Adelsons have a lot of money. They could sell that property up there around Texas Stadium. It's all undeveloped. It's industrial around there. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think the Stars have a better shot of staying here. The Mavs will have to wait and see where they go.
Patrick Dumont did say in the introductory press conference of Masai Ujiri that it would be in Dallas. It felt like a declarative statement. We've all been lied to before in this kind of space, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it was at least somewhat promising for those who want them to stay in Dallas to hear him say that.
Yeah. Welcome to politics about being lied to.
That's exactly right.
Who knows where it's going to go?
It is a high-pressure moment for the city of Dallas. Jason Whiteley, the WFAA senior political reporter. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Appreciate
Thanks,
the
guys.
time.
Appreciate it.